Hello and welcome to Third Eye Thinkers. I'm your host, Michelle Welch.
And I'm your host, Megan Benanti. Thank you all so much for listening in today.
Well, so we're here.
Yep.
I'm here barely because I almost ran out of gas.
Hey, that's life. It gets in the way. But you made it, and that's what matters.
Yeah.
So
it was interesting because I was calculating the math. You know, so many minutes, so many miles. Then all of a sudden it just went like to nothing. And it went from 15 miles to dash. And I thought, ooh, yeah, I'm pulling over.
Yeah. Well, I got a late start too. So we're sorry we're a little behind schedule today, guys. But I know you were anticipating this because we are doing live readings today.
Yes, we are.
And that's everybody's favorite. So.
And we had quite a few requests. If you guys want to join us now, if you're listening live, you can submit an online request in just any of our places on Third Eye Thinkers, or actually the easiest place, Matt, would be where for you?
Really, any of the Facebook pages. So that's either, all right, let me get myself on camera here. How about that? That would be either the RNCN Facebook page, Real News Communications Network, the Soultopia Facebook page, or the Tarot Dallas Facebook page. I'll be scouring the comments on all of those for any of your questions.
And in the future, and we probably forgot to tell you that we now, Matt, have a Third Eye Thinkers page.
Oh, yeah,
right.
There you go.
It might be. I don't know if you can hook up to that one too. But
Yeah, no, and that I would say, well, we got to just like filter it all in the Third Eye Thinkers. So today we're going to be you can kind of go to different places, but in the future it'll be Third Eye Thinkers page.
It'd be the easiest, and that's what I posted. But not everybody reads the whole thing. Somebody posted,
guilty.
I followed the directions. She posted on both, like one page, and then she posted on Third Eye Thinkers. Look, I followed the directions.
Oh, how cute is that?
She should get the reading, but I don't know who it was.
Oh,
So, I knew earlier, I promise. Talking about forgetting names.
she would totally be worthy of that.
Yes, she
okay,
would.
so I'm checking.
Well, we're actually going to let Matt see if there are any in the chat room.
I've got one that we can start on right here.
Okay.
This comes to us from Karen C, and it says, please, any message for my birthday? Thank you.
Oh,
Well, happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday. So nice that you're coming.
That's
in
your
for that.
message. Okay. Okay.
It's easy.
Okay.
All right, you want to pull a charm there, and I'll shuffle this up for us. And Michelle and I both kind of cleared our intentions before we came in today. So just as always, we are reading for your highest and greatest good and to guide you on your divine life path. So with that, we will find the information that's going to be most beneficial. All right, so what did you get there,
I
Michelle?
believe I got a box of crayons. Is that what
Yes,
I
you
drew?
did. And our guest name is Karen, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. So we got Queen of Pentacles in reverse and the Death card with a box of crayons. All right. So Michelle, do you have any thoughts on that?
Okay, so for your birthday and a little bit beyond, Karen, what I would tell you is it's time for you to begin to enjoy what you do for a living a little bit more. If you're not enjoying it, I would suggest two things that are coming to me intuitively. If you're in that job and you're going to stay in that job, whether that's a stay-at-home mom, whether that's a full-time out of the home, whatever that is for you right now, I would say to find another aspect of it that's going to lead to more fun. That's where the crayons come in for me. And creativity for you. I feel like it's a bit stifled, and then that's going to lead to some great transitions for you going forward. And I don't think New Year's always has to be the day that we start new intentions. New Year's Day, I think birthdays are a great day to do that as well.
Absolutely. And mine is fairly similar to that, actually. One of the first things I got is that it is time for you to purge. You got some extra junk in your house that you don't need, and you will feel so much better to clear this out. And it's also regarding this past year for you. You are so done with this last year, and you're completely ready to transition from this day forward into kind of your new life. And that is definitely important to include fun. And it's funny, the crayons are so little tiny. I feel like you're not even asking for a lot of fun. You're just wanting to have a little bit of fun in your life. And, don't be afraid to broaden that. But I think right now you're just looking for a taste. But I also think that you can schedule this into your day as being more of a priority. And I think Michelle's right. Your job is probably part of that. And if you're not thinking about a change, I think looking at this, I think you can certainly be open to one in the next couple of months and really figuring out where you want to go and what you want to do.
I agree. Very
Cool.
good.
All right.
The purging of things could probably apply to a lot of us. Hello.
Yeah.
Me. Yes, for me, for sure.
I was just listening to one of our shows from a couple weeks back, and the reading totally applied to me. And I
It's
was
so
like,
interesting how that happens.
oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah, it's
And so
cool.
that's true for everybody listening. If you don't get a personal reading today or you didn't request one, just know that a lot of times these come up there will be something that really hits home for you too. Mm-hmm. What else we got, Matt?
All right, I've got one here from Dee. And she says, "Hello, ladies. I'm Dee, and I wanted to know do you see me climbing out of debt and getting into a home next year? How do you see this process going for me?"
Okay.
All right. All right, Miss D. What did you pull there, Michelle?
It's a frog.
Okay. Frog. We have a frog. We have 6 of Wands in reverse, and we have 9 of Cups in reverse. All right, take your time. That's the first thing I
Yeah,
got.
I get that.
Take your time. So, I'm sorry. Are you ready? You can go ahead if you know something. No, I'm still kind of processing. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, let's tag team on this one because it's interesting for me because frog often represents wisdom. And a lot of people don't think that. They think, take a leap of faith, do this, do that. But a lot of times, frog in totem speak will represent wisdom. Okay. And so I feel with what Megan said, with the take the time, you said within a year. I'm going to be on. I don't know that it will be within a year. I think you need to reassess the way, and I am not a financial advisor by any means, but I would get with someone who is a professional financial advisor or someone who could serve in that capacity for you that is a very close confidant. And I would confide in how best to do that. Time's difficult. I'm not trying to be discouraging, but I feel like there's some other steps you haven't considered, and maybe, like Megan said, take a little more time.
Okay, and
be really wise about it. I'm sorry, just be really, really prudent and careful how you're managing this situation of getting out of debt.
I think that actually makes great sense with what we're looking at here too. And for me, frogs, I go back to the Asian culture where you have frogs face your front door to bring wealth in. So I actually, all around my house, I have lots of frogs out in my garden that face my doors. And so I love that we have this frog facing what we're looking at. But what I'm seeing for you is that it's going to be, your biggest battle is going to be getting out of debt. And you might be able to do it in the 6 to 9 month range. It might take a full year. But I want you to know you have to fight some discouragement in this. Because I feel like 6 months from now, you're going to be like, why am I still here? And, and you're going to have to really fight those urges to do those impulse buys, because if this is what you're committing to, you really need to commit to it. And not beat up yourself when you have setbacks. Because both of these, I feel like it's not happening fast enough and you're used to that instant gratification of things. And that's not what owning a home is all about. And believe me, once you get in a home, there's a lot of things to fix and change and all that too. So, be conscientious about what you're wishing for here, because it is a big project you're taking on. So be patient and steadfast. And I agree with Michelle on finding counsel is probably a good idea to help you stick with it, like having like having a coach.
Yeah. And I think it's interesting what you said as far as the wish, be careful what you're wishing for as far as the house. Just to be brief about it, both of these cards, to me, if they were upright, the 6 of Wands and can be a celebration. Mm-hmm. And the 9 of Cups to me is almost the manifestation card, the wish card. So when you say that and they're in reverse here, I feel what Megan said is the most important, to take your time. And it can come to you, but just be prudent. And then for the frog, with the wealth and the wisdom, I think that really goes together.
Mm-hmm. And maybe get some frogs and put them outside your door. So,
good idea.
Not real ones, but stones or whatever. So
this is the time where the real ones come out, I think.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
that's true.
All right.
All right,
All
Matt,
right.
what do we got?
We've got one here from Anonymous, and it said, I've never had much interest in mediumship, and I've not actively tried to develop that particular clair. However, in the last several months, I've had reason to attempt it on behalf of several people close to me who have lost loved ones. Seems to be coming through very easily and clearly for me, so much so that it's beginning to make me wonder if it's a mistake to dismiss this particular ability. I'm unsure whether I should be actively pursuing developing it or just using it when I have the inclination. So I guess this question is for guidance of some sort.
Oh my gosh, I'm like, am I supposed to do a reading or that? Can I just answer it? No, we'll do a reading for you. Anonymous, okay. So, all right, so the charm we got here is a rocking horse. And then we have the Hermit, and then we have Three of Wands in reverse. Do you have a thought, or do you want me to go?
Excuse me.
Go ahead.
I want you to go ahead, if you don't mind.
So, first off, I can't help but think of that childlike innocence, and as children, how open and receptive we are to information that comes our way, and we don't put any judgments on it. And it's interesting to kind of have that paired with the Hermit, which is the old wise one in the deck, whose wisdom is built on the lifetime of experience. And so to me, you're combining both of these elements and looking at life and the afterlife in a fresh new perspective and combining that with your own life experience. The Hermit is following his path that is lit by God. And so you have to trust that you're on the journey that you need to go on. I don't feel that you have to define how often you're going to use this or why you use this in the way that you use this. I think the answers are going to present themselves when they need to be dealt with. I don't think that you have to seek this out, any bigger than what you want to do with it. So I would stay with, what you're comfortable with, and then push if you feel like pushing, but don't feel like you always have to push or that you have to do this professionally or do it all the time, but I feel like you've got you're actually in a really good place with it now. So, and it's your choice and what you're comfortable with.
I totally agree. I would say the Hermit to me also would say, it's saying to me, you have a lot of wisdom and enlightenment, but the Hermit also is representative of a teacher and a mentor often. So I believe that would help you, mainly because I think you would feel a little more confident because you already have everything you need, but it's set for the confidence. And that's why I feel like you're asking the question. Keep your playfulness about it. You don't have to always be so serious just because it's mediumship. That to me will close down the channel sometimes a little bit or stifle it. And so other than that, that's all I have to add. I say go for it if you want to.
Yeah, awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. We have one here from the Facebook page from Haley. It says, I've been so torn between a few ideas for my next creative writing project, and I can't tell where my heart is pulling more. Where should I be focusing more for my next writing project?
What a cool question. I love that. That's like an exciting one to answer. Okay, I'm still
I
stuffing.
love that it's the next one. That means, you guys, that you've completed some writing projects, right? It's what that implies to me, which is pretty cool because a lot of people don't. They say they're going to, but they don't ever do it.
That would be me.
Would be me.
I think really hard, but I don't quite get there.
I would love the idea of that.
Okay, you're first this time, if you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready. So, as funny as this may seem, I go straight to the charm. The charm that we drew, you guys, is the little telephone booth. And Megan and I always get something a little different on the booth because I always go to the Doctor Who thing, which I've never even watched that show. So, ever. But for some reason, what is that thing called, Matt? Do you know?
The TARDIS, the time machine that they use on the show.
Well, it looks like that to me.
Yes, it does. It's a phone booth.
Yeah. So when you asked what direction, it seems to me that you should go in a direction where you tie in some of the whatever Doctor Who has. Is that sci-fi? Is that mystery?
Yeah.
That's what I would do. That's what I'm
science
getting.
Maybe
fiction,
it's
fantasy.
going through time.
And going,
Yeah,
time
time.
travel, alternative reality. Sorry, Matt, what were you going to say?
No. I was just agreeing with you. Yeah, time related or science fiction or
Okay.
or fantasy.
That's what I get.
Okay. Well, I'm also looking at it that you're thinking about this really hard. I think that you've got a lot of ideas in both directions. And I think that you're pulling more towards one way than another. And that for some reason, there's something that you feel like you're supposed to write, but I don't think that's what you really want to do. And I think you need to go with where your heart is singing. Where do you feel most excited? And that, to me, that's how you're going to travel through this and kind of teleport yourself, is by having some connecting with your heart and your soul purpose on that.
Interesting. Let
All
us
right.
know.
Yeah, keep us posted.
Yes. It's exciting.
right.
Good luck.
All right, this one comes to us from Alan. Alan asking, wondering if I'll get the new position I applied for, internal and external as well. So a career question here.
That's one position.
It sounds like it might be applied for both an internal and an external position, so two separate ones.
Okay.
And perhaps which one is more favorable?
Okay. Because I usually do that reading in a little different way, but we'll see what I get.
Okay.
I usually go internal, external, but I'll just read
Do
it.
it however you
I'm going to
want.
do it. I'm going to do one card and then another card.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Oh, and we got the tie. Of course, that makes sense for this reading. Okay, internal is the Chariot in reverse. External is Ten of Wands in reverse.
I'm not sure. I feel like on the internal there might be some movement, but it may not be exactly where you want or as quickly as you want it to come to you. And I'm going to be honest, it may actually even be a no. The tie is interesting to me. I'll get back to that. Or maybe Megan can say more, because it keeps yelling at me in between these two cards. A tie represents to me, in a business aspect, something a little maybe more corporate, where you would have to get dressed up. So it's interesting in this context. If depending on, you would know what that would be between these two, internal and external. I feel more the internal than I do the external. What I'm going to say about the external is it feels like, I don't know, that I'm going to change. It feels like almost your burdens are relieving if it's external. It's almost as though you could shed some of the things you've been carrying around that aren't for your highest good. So I'm thinking more the external. I know that's not real clear, but yeah.
It's usually helpful information, however it comes out. As I look at the reading, I'm feeling like right now you're too attached to the outcome. And I feel that the internal situation with the company is maybe that you're trying too hard and they feel that you're overly eager. And even I feel like the tie, you might be choking yourself. And I'm like, just pull back. You need to relax into this, and it might not be your time yet. And as I look at Ten of Wands, I'm feeling that there's aspects where they're feeling either there might be some areas where you're a little overqualified, but then there's others where you're maybe not up to speed, and that might be something technology based or whatever, and they feel like they want you to know a little bit more. So there might be some room for growth. I'm not going to say that you're not going to get either of these jobs, but I feel like this is more information about preparing you for what you're supposed to be doing. I'm not sure that either of these is exactly the right path right now, but I think there's great learning lessons in this.
I agree.
Okay.
All right, let me find our next one. This comes to us from the Facebook page as well. This is this is an interesting one. This is from Cami. It says, "Hi, I've been seeing sequenced numbers everywhere, all day, all the time." She gave some examples of it's usually repeating numbers or numbers in a sequence like 1, 2, 3, 4. It says, could you give me some insight on why this is happening and what I am to do with this knowledge?
Well, and that's interesting because that actually came up to me earlier today as a question from someone.
In about 1 minute, it'll be 444.
There you go.
There you go.
It means watch third eye.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So, Michelle, I'd love for you to answer first on this.
All right. The conclusion of the question, it was about synchronicity, but what was the last part of it?
It says what should I do with this knowledge? Basically, what should I learn from this, or what should I do with this?
Pay attention and use it. I really can't say it any more simply than that. If there was I believe that you could start asking for it to be a positive answer for you. So if you have something where you want to know, would it be in my highest and best good to buy this car? And you see 3 series in a day of 4s, and you see 444, which it is right now, and I'm using that as an example, then that could be your yes. So I'm a big believer in synchronicities. And the more, it's kind of like the cars. When you decide you want a certain car, which I need a new car because mine's not doing very well. And Megan knows. I've been needing.
You've been needing a long
She gave me a
time.
reading that I needed one by Christmas, and she's right because I'm pouring money into it. So, and I haven't listened to that reading. So the more you decide, I think I may get this kind of car, all of a sudden you start seeing it, because you're looking for the signs, or you're noticing that particular thing. I never knew somebody had so many Chevrolet whatevers. So I say use it as a yes or an answer to your question and pay very close attention to it. And you can also set it sometimes as your no. So I'm just going to say use it as much as you can and pay attention to it. And I see this dress. It's interesting because as I'm looking at it, I don't know. It's just, it makes me think of the angelic, tying in the angelic with it, because a lot of angel messages will come through numbers also.
Right.
So,
and what I'm seeing with that, and just to tie in on your synchronicity, you got Sun, which is number 19, and then you got 10 of Cups in reverse, and 1 + 9 is 10. So you have that synchronicity right there.
yeah, that's cool.
So to me, this is something you're supposed to have fun with it. Yes, you are getting clear messages, and you need to trust that. And to me, a lot of times when you're seeing synchronized things or numbers like this, what do they mean to you in that moment? What are you thinking about when that happens, or what are you dealing with? Because there is an answer there for you. And so it might be a matter of starting to kind of document what those things mean to you, and that'll help you create your own language with what your guides and angels are telling you and connecting with you. The dress for me is also, it's a sense of, it's on a hanger and it's blowing in the wind. And so there's a sense of like, be free with this. Don't let it inhibit you. And then also, as I look at 10 of Cups in reverse, it doesn't need to define everything in your life. You don't need to feel like this is going to be the final answer for everything just because you see a synchronized thing there in a negative way. So if you're getting a lot of, sort of negative signs, maybe that's telling you, trying to wake you up to look at the positive of the situation. So that's just another way of looking at that. But it is interesting that your cards would even be synchronized.
Yeah, that is cool.
So,
Yeah.
all right.
All right. I think we got time for a couple more. Let's see here. This comes to us from Rachel. It says, hi, card for my career, please. So just a reading about her
Okay.
career.
Sorry, I'm sure you guys can hear my shuffling there.
And so I drew the charm is a little fur coat, it looks like to me. A little swing coat.
It is, and it is swinging for sure.
Yes.
All
Sorry
right.
about that noise there. I just can't reach that.
No, I know. Sorry. Okay, pick a card there.
Question about her career, right?
For Rachel. Okay. So, well, I feel like you've got an opportunity here. It might not be quite the pay you want, or it could be that you're just feeling a little insecure about it. I think that if you take this job, you are going to own it. You've got the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. You've got the Emperor. I really think you can rock this out and do really well. I don't think you need to be frightened of it. I just think you need to, it's going to be kind of putting on maybe something that feels a little burdensome, because, you know, if you've ever worn a fur coat, they can weigh good 10 pounds, 10 pounds. So it might feel a little bit heavy at first, but you're going to acclimate into this awesome.
So for me, you're sort of I see the swing coat. So you're sort of swinging between the idea of being independent and owning your own business and the idea of maybe being in a more structured business. And both, I just want you to know what I'm getting intuitively is that both will be structured and need to be structured. So don't fall for the idea that just because you work for yourself, that's not a structured environment. It would still need to be a structured environment. And I think that either way with your career, I see that either way would be okay for you. That it's just that you need to remember that when you work for yourself, this kind of as an independent woman working self-established and working for yourself, just know that it still has to be extremely structured. And I think you have that.
Awesome. Yeah, no, that makes good sense to me. Cool.
All right. This probably needs to be the final one.
Okay.
And as always, there were a ton of people that commented, and we appreciate that. And I'm sorry that we cannot get to most of them, really. I have to pick the ones that pop out to me. So we're going to do this one from, I believe it's Philmaine. I'm not really sure how you're supposed to pronounce that name, but we'll say Philmaine. And they're asking for a card, please. This past year and the beginning of this year have brought a lot of pain and struggles, and they'd like to know, will it end?
And I chose the tie again as the charm. Pain and struggles. Well, first of all, we're sorry for that. The pain and struggles that you've gone through. And I can see this in the cards. And she asked, will it end?
Yeah, will it end?
Okay.
Or maybe how soon, or however you want to interpret that.
I feel like this is kind of time for you to keep on soldiering through with this. We're looking at Knight of Swords and Ten of Swords and the tie. There's a sense of having to put on your professional face and kind of keep it together. I do think that you can begin to move past this. It might not be right away. It feels more like maybe October to me. Before things begin to kind of lighten up. But with that, you know, this means don't give up hope. Yes, it will get better. It's just that right now, it sucks. And I feel like you're holding on to a lot of pain, and in some ways you're walking around with that lump in your throat because you're trying to swallow that pain. And I feel like you need to get some release. Possibly energy work or therapy. I know there's ways in probably which you feel like you're being kind of victimized by the situation, and I want you to really look at, okay, well, crappy things happen to all of us, and I can get through this. I can do this. Because I know this is hard, but I do think your turning point is going to kind of be in October. But it might not be like a real dramatic sudden change. It might be more gradual, but I feel like that's when that is going to begin to lift, and it's like the sun is beginning to finally rise.
Well said. I would say that I know that I feel strongly that you've tried to cut some cords, to cut some ties, to relieve this burden that you feel and these things that you've gone through. And I know that it is not as easy as anyone thinks to cut those ties and to heal. And so I agree with Megan. I think that some ways of healing would be therapy or energy, but even maybe some, I'm getting strongly maybe some nonprofits. I won't mention on the air what I'm getting, but just nonprofits might help you to to heal and to really learn and help, not learn, but help you cut those cords and those ties that I believe have caused you some pain.
Yeah.
And I'm really sorry. But I do believe there's hope in that, because there are so many people to help us. And I really feel like you should reach out for that.
And that is a good point. As I look at what these cards and what Michelle's saying, yeah, you right now I feel like you're really feeling alone in this, and there will be people that can help. There are people that do understand and have gone through similar situations, no matter what they are. Everybody's been there before at some point. So, you know, definitely find some help and support, because I don't like seeing you feeling so isolated.
And use the resources. And if you don't know of resources, there you can certainly inbox us on Third Eye Thinkers, and I have resources that I can make available to you. I'm not sure where you live, but I can do that.
Yep.
So.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that was great.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Sorry to end on a heavy one there, but
Yeah, but we're always going to be honest with what we are getting. That's one thing that you'll get from both Megan and myself, is we're not going to sugarcoat our readings, but there is always hope, and we hope to provide you and tell you about the hope that there is in any reading. And I always want to emphasize that there's free will, and we do set that intention, as Megan said at the beginning of every reading. There's free will in every card reading, and so remember that you have free will to course correct anything that's going on. And I'm speaking to everyone.
yeah, absolutely. I mean, sometimes tragedies befall us, but we still do have that free will and that option of how we choose to deal with that.
Right.
So,
Yeah. All right. I wish we had more time. I love these days.
I know, yes, it is fun.
Yeah.
So, and if you guys enjoyed this, please, please subscribe and give us a review, and make any comments you want about the readings. So, because we always love hearing your feedback. So you've been listening to Third Eye Thinkers today with Michelle Welch and Megan Benanti. Thank you so much for joining us, and tune in next week.
Thank you.